Alright, so this will just be a quick video of making field boundaries with ArcGIS Pro. And I know most people probably won't be utilizing this program just because there's cheaper ones, ones that are more tailored to ag for that matter, something like SMS Advanced, things of that sort. But for this we're going to use ArcGIS Pro. This is more tailored towards the K-State classes that are being held right now this spring semester. And also this program's kind of the basis for most of the other programs that are being used in the industry. So if you know how this program works, you can go out and you can probably use Quantum GIS. It'll probably be a little more confusing than ArcGIS Pro. ArcMap is kind of like ArcGIS Pro. It's just not as streamlined. ArcGIS Pro has more stuff that's kind of built into it to help out the user. So let's go ahead and get started. So this will be the page that you kind of come up with. And to get started, we're going to click on Map. And now we can name it whatever we want to. I'll just name it Video 1. And once you're done, actually before you do that, if you want to change the location of it, if you're wanting to keep it on your USB, you can go ahead and browse and go ahead and put it on your USB before you get started. Alright, so once you do that, you can go ahead and push OK. And it should open up a blank map. And for some users, you might come to this screen and it's just going to be a blank page with nothing on here. So what you can do is go to Insert, and then you'll click on Map, and it'll add a new map, and this should show up. This is ArcGIS 2.3. It already has it here. So we can go back to Map, and we just need to add a new base map. And I like to add a base map of imagery with labels, so I can kind of see where I'm at in space. And it's pretty easy to figure out where I'm at. If we're wanting to locate an area, we can use this Locate button. And let's say we want to go to Hoxie, Kansas. I guess there's Hoxie, Arkansas. We can find Hoxie, Kansas. Take us right there. Perfect. For this one, we're just going to go to some fields down near my home farm. And they're somewhere right in here. So you can find them. There we go. Alright, I'm just going to choose an easy field to make a field boundary around. We'll just do this one. It's roughly a 70-acre field. So to make a field boundary, and I guess the reason why you'd want to make a field boundary is so that way you can clip like your satellite imagery to it. If you're going to make a variable rate map, it has to be within a field boundary. We can't just have it off in random space. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to our catalog, and most of all of our stuff will be stored in this area. So if we click down on database, this is where we'll put all of our stuff that we curate is in our database. So if you right click on it, it's going to pop up like this. And to make a field boundary, you go to New and then go to Feature Class. And now it's going to ask you what you want to name it. And the important thing is that you cannot name a feature class with a space in it. So we have to name it, messed up there. I'll just name it that. Okay, and everything else is pretty much good. We'll leave it as polygon here. And we'll go to Next. Next. And this is where we're going to choose our coordinate system. Now for precision ag and anything like that, the gold standard is WGS 1984. So we'll go ahead and select that. And everything else is good. On our tolerances, resolution, so you can go ahead and put or click Finish. Now something ArcGIS 2.2 or 2.3 I should say is not going to do is go ahead and put your field boundary over on your drawing order. So we need to go back to that. So if we click the little down arrow, we can find our field boundary. If we right click on it, we can add to current map. Or what we can do is take and just drag it over like this. And the important thing here is we want our field boundary to be above our world imagery. If we have it vice versa and we make a field boundary, we'll never see it, just because it's being masked by our world imagery. So to create the field boundary, we're going to go to Edit and go to Create, and then we'll find our feature classes we created here. So if we click on it, and we can select the polygon tool, now that's going to allow us to draw the field boundary. So come in here and just click around your field. And yeah, this may take some time, but once you draw it, you can actually export it out as a shapefile, and you can save it for later use. So you only have to technically draw it once if you save it correctly. And I'm not going to do anything professional here. One thing I forgot to do was, you can see how it's all blue right now. You can change it to where it doesn't do that. And it's basically just a black outline of the field like you'd normally see. But it looks like you can still see through it, so I can go ahead and go around the field here. And we'll change it after we get done. Now when we get done, and we're ready to close it off, we're going to double click. And then I'll close it off. Now the important thing now is that we need to save this. So we cannot proceed with anything else until we save all of our edits. So come up here and we save. And save all your edits. Yes. And then now we can deselect this. I'm going to push the escape button right now. We're back to our little hand clicker. And we can push clear. And now we just got our field boundary hanging out here. So if we can click on the color of it, and we can change it to a black outline. And you can come in here to properties. If you want to make the outline bigger, you can just go from gallery to properties and just click the size bigger and bigger. When you're done, go ahead and click apply. It'll make that field boundary much beefier or smaller, whatever you would like. So that's pretty much it for making the field boundary. Another thing is, if your buddy tells you, hey man, I got this great field boundary I made, I'm going to ship you out the shapefile. There's another way you can do this as far as making field boundaries, and that's just to use one that was already made, like we talked about saving this one. And to do that, one method is to go to add data, and then I guess it looks like we got our shape files here. I'm just going to go back here. We'll rerun through it. We can go to lab 1, open, and then right in here I have my shape files I saved. So we have our field boundary shape file right here, and we have actually a soil sampling file right here, which we're not going to use. So we can go ahead and click on this and click OK, and it'll pop it up. And if it's in the right format, it'll show up on our map where it's supposed to be. However, if it's not in the correct format, it's not in WGS 1984, it could wind up somewhere, probably off the coast of Africa somewhere. And one way to do this even better is actually to come back through here, just like you're going to make a field boundary, only we're going to go to import, and then we're going to click on feature class. And let it load. And here's where we go search for our file. So you click on the little file button and go desktop and just go into where our shapefile is at, and we go ahead and click on it. And the nice thing about this is we can go ahead and rename it. We'll name it Bats Boundary. This is actually my brother's field down in Gove County. And after we do this, we need to go to environments, and we're going to change the geocoordinate system to WGS 1984. And what this is going to allow us to do is go ahead and import that map in the correct geocoordinate system right off the bat, so we don't wind up with those problems in the future. So we can go ahead and run that, and if everything's correct, should wind up with a field boundary somewhere down in Gove County. Now one thing I could do is go ahead and scroll out, see if I can find the field boundary. I know where this field is at, and I can tell you for a fact that it's kind of hard to see it. So one way you can find any feature class, any clip you have, is to right click on whatever layer you want to go to, and then you can go down to zoom to layer, and it'll take you right to it. And as you can see, we got this big old green blob. We can go ahead and change that to a different color if we would like. So there we go. Now we got a field boundary from somebody else, and we imported it, and it's pretty much ready to go. Now for a practical use for this, would be to go ahead and create your field boundary like I was talking about before, and go ahead and save these, in an external hard drive, something of that sort. Maybe you have multiple farmers. I mean, this isn't just for ArcGIS Pro. This could be for, QGIS, SMS, anything. Just go ahead and export out your field boundaries, save them, so that way in the future, if you ever need to use that field boundary again, you can go ahead and bring it on in, and everything's fine and dandy. So that pretty much concludes this video of creating field boundaries. Next time we're going to focus on bringing in grid soil sample points. That's probably the next most important thing. It's much the same as this, and next video actually probably look at linking up soil data with our points, just in case they're separate. Some files will come together. Sometimes you're going to send off the data. The lab's going to give you an Excel sheet back. I mean, what do we do with that data? How do we get in our points? That is next week's video, or maybe it'll be this week. I'll see when I get around to it. So with that, hope you guys have a great day. Hope this helps out with anything. And like I said, this isn't just for ArcGIS Pro. This is for a lot of things that you use this type of process. In the future, I hope to learn Quantum GIS, which is a free open source. If you were to buy ArcGIS Pro right now, a single use would cost you about $4,000 a year for the advanced version. You may not need that much. You might be able to get away with a lower class one, but the kicker is that there's an open source one called Quantum GIS, which is free. I haven't really looked at it a whole lot, but I hope to mirror all these videos that I make with ArcGIS Pro for the students at K-State with Quantum GIS, so that way it can be used, wherever it's need be for free. So with that, I hope you guys have a great day, and we will catch you on the next video.